Hey peeps, we are doing an unboxing today. We are unboxing Sirian Shadow's Shadow of Darkness Oracle deck. Of course, I start recording and I have to cough. But anyhow, I am so stoked to unbox this with you guys. Many of you know I love Sirian's first deck, especially the independently produced version. It's a super accurate deck, both for clarification of tarot in a spread, but also for just your own personal spiritual path practice, you know, whether you're working on getting to know yourself better, healing wounds, or just living a life that really feels grounded and connected to your spiritual path. That first deck of Sirian's is just amazing. I'm going to be recording very soon my top 5 Oracle decks of all time list, and that deck just might be on it. That's how much I love Sirian's first deck. So Sirian did send this deck to me for me to have as a thank you for the original unboxing and review that I did of their deck. Again, links for everything is going to be in the description box. So I did not purchase this one myself. Sirian did send it to me. Thank you so much, Sirian. And I'm very excited to unbox this with you guys and let you know what I think. First thing is I did take the plastic off this, just so that you know it does come wrapped in plastic, but it was really reflecting with the light in the new space, and I didn't want it to reflect too much while I'm trying to show it to you. The box itself is this really nice velvety matte, and the skull is embossed. You guys know I love me some skull and bones. And so the key phrase here is confront the darkness within. And again, the deck is Shadow of Darkness. So I'm going to read the back for you, which looks like this. This 44 card deck can assist you in reframing your perspective in order to change limiting beliefs. Working with this deck can help you grow spiritually and give you the assurance that your experiences are your own and can be learned from. By using the cards, you can break cycles, acquire awareness and understanding, and uncover new perspectives in order to challenge your preconceptions. It is in the darkness you must face your demons to find yourself and become whole. So it really sounds like there's a focus on shadow work with this deck. And I really love the guidebook in Sirian's first deck. So I'm very excited to see what this is going to hold in store for us. So Shadow of Darkness is repeated on the side. And then again, confront the darkness within and set yourself free here. Okay, very different. I'm just looking around for a deck that I can compare size to. So this is the guidebook, similar to a little white book. Okay, and basically on the back it says something very similar. And then about Sirian. Sirian is influenced by and inspired by a variety of spiritual traditions. With his honed abilities and his background in the mystical arts, he's committed to assisting others in seeing the truth about themselves and the world around them so that they may realize their greatest potential. So the guidebook is smaller than the first one, so different sizing here. It's 110 pages, but you're still getting a few paragraphs as well as a keyword paragraph, and then it looks like on the cards we are going to have some keywords descriptions here to assist us in understanding what the meaning of the card is. So I do think it is a little white book size. It doesn't seem like a throwaway at all to me. Let's see what the about you part is. So you get about 12 pages of intro, and then starting on page 13 is how to use the deck, and then card meanings start on page 22 so that you can see that. So now the card size is different than the original Oracle deck as well. You know, I love me a really beautiful illustration on the inside there. That's gorgeous. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I'm really stoked to work with this. So card size is different. Let me find something, because I don't have, his Oracle deck is still, the first Oracle deck is still, it's here, but I don't know exactly where it is. Think moving. So here's a comparison size Les Vampire from Blue Angel Oracle deck. Comparison size to this, it's smaller. It's much more similar to your traditional like Rider-Waite-Smith style deck. This is the Flow Tarot as comparison. I actually like Oracle decks in multiple sizes. Like, you guys know how obsessed I am with the Earthbound Oracle, which is teeny tiny. And sometimes it's nice to have those smaller sizes to work with, especially when you're incorporating tarot and Oracle together. So that's not necessarily a bad thing for me in an Oracle deck. Let's talk about the cardstock quality. So here's the backing, which I'm a fan of. I hate this backing at all. I love it. It's not matte. It's not that velvety matte. It's a flat matte. But the cardstock is thicker than, say, the Hayworth Tarot, which is a less of an investment deck. So I do think quality-wise, it will stand up to and withhold shuffling and travel, etc. If you're heavy on your if you're hard on your decks, excuse me. Let's talk about the gilding. It's everything. It's like black with this rainbow sheen. Oh my God. I'm so obsessed with nice gilding on decks. It's not even funny. So yes, I'm a fan of that for sure. So let's see what we've got here. So amalgamate is card number 1. I'm just going to read it off to you so you can get an idea what it's going to be like. Everything is starting to amalgamate. All the aspects are beginning to fit together. Trust that you are being guided to the right path. Ignore the inner critic and don't give up. So it's more than just like a key word or one phrase. You've got a few phrases to work with right there on the card. So if you're new to working with Oracle decks, that might be something that really speaks to you. So here is, I'm going to go through the cards with you now. It's nice. So this very much feels like, I think you can absolutely use it as a clarifier to a tarot spread, but it really feels like it is meant to be one of those decks that you turn to when you're doing shadow work or you're trying to understand perhaps a stuck energy in your life or a repeating pattern. Oh, I love this one, Awakening. I will say this, I do like the bigger size in the Oracle deck for Sirian's decks, I think. But this is an unboxing. I haven't worked with it. You guys know I'm going to do a full review after I work with it for about a month. But I love the artwork, first of all. But I do think that the slightly larger card size does let Sirian's images really come to the forefront. However, I do think that a deck like this is a nice boon to your collection because much like actually Le Vampire Oracle, which is why it's almost always out because I read for people every day, having a deck that really goes into like the shadow piece of things instead of trying to be lighthearted and cover things up is actually very helpful. There's a real kind of masculine feel to this deck as well, which again, I don't think is a bad thing. I actually don't have a lot of decks that contain a lot of primarily masculine energy, but I think you really get a feel for that in this deck. The pen and ink, excuse me, the ink sketches or however Sirian chose to work with the artwork piece here, it feels kind of gritty. It's a little bit dirtier. It's less maybe air and more earth. So I get the feeling that you're going to want to work with this deck for real clarity and when you're in the right space to access your shadow, to access the underworld, to go into the cave, right? And to see what is there. Yeah, it has a very different feel from Sirian's first deck. So you are not going to be, I don't think, at least I don't feel at all like, oh, this is very similar to the first one. It has a completely different feel. It's much more of a focused, honed deck with a specific, that doesn't mean I don't love the first deck. The first deck is a little more multi-purpose, multifaceted in that you could apply it in a variety of ways. This deck is definitely a working deck with a shadow focus. So just so, oh, I love that one. Oh, wow. Wounded. It's possible that you're unwilling to let go of the past or unsure of the changes you need to make going forward. Instead of resisting change, embrace it and heal old wounds. Yeah, I think you're going to work with this deck. If this deck calls to you, you're going to work with it for very specific reasons. And really when you're ready to take a good look at yourself and your patterns, but also your path. And I really like the key words too, because it's very clear what it is. Impaled. You know, it's like, boom, you know what it is. Preservation. The imagery reminds me actually, so I was saying, more masculine, but also like almost tattoo line work focused. Like it's got that, oh, I love the color. I mean, obviously I'm a red and black girl, but look at that. Yeah, I like that one. So it's almost got more of this tattoo art, line art vibe to it. and much more focused on the skulls themselves and not so much like what's happening in the background. I always love, or at least I should say in both of Sirian's decks, I love that the background is black, and it really allows me to focus on the imagery and the phrase. And I do really like the backings on this deck. This deck is not, it's different for me in that I feel like I have to spend time with it and get to know it. Sirian's first deck was like immediate love affair for me. Very, you know, I think you guys all saw how much I freaking love that deck. I used it all summer, like nonstop every day for my personal practice. And then in a lot of readings with my clients and in 2 mentorship packages with students, actually 3, it came through. We ended up working with that deck. So this is Sirian's deck as a whole. This deck doesn't feel as gregarious. It is a shadow deck, and so it is going to require time, attention, and for you to go to it, I feel like, and you to walk the path with it and connect with it in that way. So it's different, it's quiet, but it's also masculine in that it feels like it's active in its advice, in its guidance, and it's unapologetic in what it's going to ask you to look at as well. So I would say if you are called to do shadow work, this much like the Lantern Oracle is a deck that you're going to want to have on hand, but you may not use it every day, you know? So if you're thinking and considering purchasing this deck, I would say if you are someone who's about to engage in shadow work or who knows that shadow work is a part of your life, part of your personal practice, something you're going to come back to seasonally, at specific times of the year or at certain points in your journey, then I think that the Shadow of Darkness deck is going to be a huge positive and a tool that you can bring to the table that's got a lot of meat to it. At least at first unveiling, it feels that way to me. I don't think it's a daily draw deck though. So I just want to be clear with you guys, because you guys know I'm always honest. Even if the deck gets sent to me by someone I admire and love, I'll always tell you what I think about it. And this is a very different feel than Sirian's first deck. However, it does feel like the focus on shadow work is very real. And it wouldn't surprise me if when Sirian created the deck, he was channeling these messages from very specific guides that are here to assist with shadow work, with healing and growth from a perspective of understanding that you have to go in and do the work. It's not always flowers, hearts, and butterflies. So I'm excited to work with this deck and get to know it more. I will, of course, share the journey with you. You guys know on Instagram, I post kind of some photos from my daily practice from time to time. I'm sure that this will come into the picture because I am currently doing some serious fucking shadow work, and it is that time of year as well. And of course, I will do a full review of the deck on the channel too. But I really love this backing. It's really gorgeous. So very different feel. You're most certainly not going to feel like you purchased the same deck twice. This is a different deck than Sirian's first deck for sure. So let me know what you guys think. Leave me some messages down below. If you want to purchase the deck or if you would like to watch the original unboxing and review of the first deck, please feel free to check that out. Those links will be in the description box below. I am sending you all, as always, much love and many blessings, and I will see you in the next video.